Thank you, member. Recognizing the member for Caribou North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I just truly want to thank the member for her words and for all of the members of this House. And I know that we're all tireless supporters of trying to create change for the future and for our daughters. And you'll certainly have my support on the legislation to end discrimination, because I think that's critically important that we do that. And in that reflection, I would kindly ask, humbly ask, all members of this House to please consider the legislation that we've brought forward on that my colleague, the member for Surrey South, has introduced around the equal pay reporting. Please, members, please consider the fact that I had the opportunity over the last week to tour a lot of post-secondary institutions, and it still exists. We know that. We've lived that. As women, we've all been in situations where we've seen unequal pay. And I think this is one step that we can take as the House, join together to bring this piece of legislation forward. I think it is critically important because when we measure it, it provides the ability for us to make change. And so, Madam Speaker, I hope in good faith that members of this House will consider that important piece of legislation that the member of Surrey South has introduced, because I do think transparency in British Columbia will help move that dial for all of our daughters and girls in British Columbia and make a considerable difference. I think it's critically important. And I would also like to note that over the past 2 years, women have faced greater job losses, and this is particularly due to the fact that women predominantly work in industries most affected by pandemic closures and earning losses such as hospitality, food services, retail, education, healthcare, social assistance. And we know that we're also facing a labor shortage in this province. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, 59% of small businesses have reported that they just cannot find enough staff. And so as women enter back into the workforce following the pandemic, let's make sure that they have access to equal pay. Let's make sure that they have all of the opportunities that we would hope that why we come together in this House is to make sure that for the next generation, that mountain that the member talked about, that all of our the future has the opportunity. So I am so proud of all the incredible women who have pursued higher education in this province, but we're just not seeing their educational successes reflected among the higher level occupations and career. Female representation in leadership roles is still limited, and this government's efforts to close the gap does not ensure that equal success of women exists across the economy. If we want to keep talented female employees in the workforce, we must address the barriers, and that starts with pay equity. We cannot expect members to enter or re-enter the workforce and simply accept lesser pay. Please,
Thank you, member.
Call the bill.
Thank you, member.